Hey everyone, good evening. Welcome back. Hi, Era. Good evening, K-Sue. I'd started you guys live, but I was just finishing a private private class, so cleaning up and then getting back with you guys here. Hey Ron, welcome back, pal. I probably told you guys this was back a few weeks ago, but I got this Apple Watch my wife got me for my birthday, and it's funny because it requires or it's set up for like 30 minutes of exercise a day. So mine with teaching yoga several sessions a day, it's like you're hundreds of percent over your exercise goal. It's cool seeing it though on the, keeps your heart rate. And in Detox, sometimes I'll just kind of glance at it for a second and see how low the heart rate will go while we're relaxing in some of the positions or when we're in some of the rebounds, and then it tracks. So I just set it to start and it'll track your heart rate throughout your whole experience. So like in the flow classes, you'll see the graph kind of mirror the energy waves of what the poses are doing, which is really cool. You'll see this double hump kind of camelback through the heart rate, and then in the detox you'll see just that in kind of straight line and couple little spikes when you're probably moving and transitioning between poses. Leslie. And let's give it about one more minute and then we'll get started. If you guys are getting settled and you have your stack, yoga block, blanket, pillow, and kombucha on tap. So good. It's good in the bottle too. It's GT's, friends of ours. But I love it on the tap, especially after the hot room. Yes, Leslie. So much yang yoga. So many flows. So many flows. Okay, so let's practice. We've been talking about it. There's a nice, small, intimate group of us. Let's practice for the masses. And let's practice with, peace in our hearts and as much compassion and love as we can put out there into the world. It starts one person at a time, feeding, putting that. Okay, let's do it. Let's start on our back tonight. Yeah, it's interesting when you guys are talking about the sensations of your body. I've gone down this road normally in privates when people talk about, my body hurts. And you just kind of got to go into the next layer of questioning around, what defines sensation for a person, because there's physical, mental, and emotional, and then, trying to see how your brain has correlated and connected sensation, everything from, Some people are numb and they don't feel anything, and that's not a great thing. And then other people, hurt so bad that they're in, agony and pain. So it's taking that and then going further into the conversation, starting with the sense that it's all a sensation and there's a spectrum into everything. So when Leslie mentioned a lot of yang yoga, a lot of vinyasa, well, there's a spectrum, that we're traveling, and now we're on the other side of it with yin yoga. But living in those, and I think we all understand, when you're on the two ends of the spectrum and you're at the extreme, it's not necessarily the most peaceful place to exist, right? So where does the peace lie? Somewhere, I'm using my hands, I got shadows on the wall, but somewhere near the center. So let that layer through your experience as your legs come out long tonight. Head rests into the mat, arms by your sides. Again, setting ourselves up and so we can be a portal of peace. A portal of compassion for all living beings, all rights, all shapes, all sizes, all colors, every living being. Take a moment here as you lie down tonight and see the shape of your mind as it exists right now. Your brain knows shapes. And so all I'm suggesting or inviting you to do is associate the shape of your brain right now. What does that feel like? And let's start, if you bring your legs together, they're still straight. And then rock a little bit to the left. Slide the back of your right hand underneath the back of your right hip. And then rock a little bit to the right and slide your left hand underneath the back of your left hip. So let's start. And you can always adjust the shoulders, elongate, and then settle in the head and through the neck. And you feel the weight of the pelvis and through the bum onto your hands. And then bring the soles of your feet together. You can keep it nice and wide. And let your knees fall apart. If once you get settled in the balance, you want to let your head naturally fall off to one side or the other, like for whatever reason, depending on your shoulders. Your head's probably going to feel good to go more naturally one way. You can let it go that way. The energy center through your body and your spine. Different points along the way. So if you go all the way down into the base of your pelvis, or if you think about it going all the way up your legs to your upper inner thighs, you're going to meet your root chakra. Root chakra is associated with your survival. We alluded to this morning in that your body and all the systems in your body are going to do exactly what they need to do and to support you in the moment. You're not making choices. You're not putting in the order. Like when you call for your food delivery and telling your body what it needs to do. Your body is doing all of that and through all of its systems exactly as it needs to and to support you. And when something comes in to attack your body and try to tear your body down, your body has internal defense mechanisms as part of the system. And so let's start there. And from there, you arrive here. But that doesn't mean that your mind has to be here. Your mind, not your brain. Your brain is inside your body. It's here as well. But your mind, it's everywhere. It's everyone. It's you, it's me. It's all of us. So it's not a stretch at all. And that when you're practicing, we're all practicing. Because your mind is everything, and it's everywhere, and it's everyone. And so that can lead us into the determination that we don't need to use our mind to convince ourselves that we're here, or to prove to ourselves and that we are a present being. It's all built in. It's already happening. And so even your practice as a whole, as it symbolizes the opposite end of the spectrum from yang yoga, within the postures themselves, there's still the spectrum sensation of yang to yin. So that which is building, or the sensations that are or can be fairly uncomfortable, maybe at this point your hands are numb. You don't only pay attention to the hands being numb and then the hands not being numb. Pay attention to everything that lies in between those ends of the spectrum. You gently begin to turn your knees back up towards each other. Once you have your feet flat, you can use your feet and to gently and so slightly lift your hips off of your hands. Slide your hands out and set your bum down. And then go ahead and feel the release in everything that is happening now between and the two ends of the spectrum. Palms turn up, tingles, flow, release, and the legs long, and then your body in stillness. And feel how you can fully observe as those sensations continue to linger. And not only those parts of your body that are feeling it more than others, but then you still have the ability to trace and sensations all over the body, and from your toes into the crown of your head. You're aware of everything that is going on right now, as much and as wide as your mind is open into this portal of energy. Bend your legs so that your feet are flat, and you can roll yourself over onto your left side. As you turn onto your left side, you might need to scoot your hips over to the right a little bit more, so that your outer left thigh is on your mat and the knees are as high as the hips. And you're going to keep the legs in that shape, and then just slide your left elbow back behind you and bring your right elbow down in line with your left elbow. And we're going to set up here with both elbows down first. You might feel in this twist already starting to settle in place. You stay here, and so that you can elongate first. You can get some length out of your low spine, your low back, and your sacrum. And after about the first minute, if you want to split the elbows, you can bring your chest down or rest your forehead on the ground. You're welcome to do that, but give it about a minute up top. You can always stay on your elbows. You could slide pillows or blankets underneath your chest if you're somewhere in between. Okay, or now, if you're ready, spread the elbows apart and stack your palms and let your chin, or you can put the side of your face onto your hands, whatever feels best. went all the way down onto your chest and your chin. And start to bring yourself back up onto your elbows, no rush. Keep the head heavy, and then to release the twist, and you can start to straighten your right leg down your mat. And then start to straighten your left leg and turn your belly onto the mat. And keep your elbows under your shoulders. Make any little adjustments that you need to. And then from here, we're going to go right arm behind your left elbow across the mat. And then left arm out to the right, so your elbows line up through the midline of your chest. Now you want to get your chest over your arms, so tuck your toes. You rock and slide your hips and your chest forward. And then you can let your torso come down over your arms. Should be a nice opening for your shoulders and for your back. About 1 more minute in this posture. You may feel this opening through your back and your shoulders. Create a release and some space down into your hips and your sacrum. And take a breath to draw you back if you are drifting. It's all good. And you can start to lift the head, and then your right arm begins to slide out. And your left elbow slides back. And keep walking your elbows out. And use your hands. And we're going to bring ourselves back into a closed-legged child's pose with your knees together. And take your bum back to your heels. Your head and bring your arms down by your sides, and so that your shoulders can extend. And your arms are as heavy as they can be. And same with your hips folding over your legs. And then relax your belly. It should feel good if you've been really locked up in your shoulders, base of the neck. You can bring your hands underneath your shoulders. And begin to slowly roll yourself up through your spine. And you're making your way into a seated position on your shins. And feel the feet and the hips and the shoulders and the head as it stacks on top. You might get a nice deep breath in, follow it up with a big sigh, exhale. Since we're here, and hands forward just enough and to lift your bum, and then put your right ankle on the back of your left ankle, cross. And keep your toes untucked. And start to sit your bum back down onto your ankles. And feel anything that floods your heart. And little by little, as you give the weight of your upper body onto your ankles, you can go from hands on the ground to hands on your thighs. And keep the shoulders soft, and then the chin can rest in and towards the chest. And be aware of any clench that appears in your jaw, in your face, in your shoulders, in your neck, and soften it. Feel it in the layers. Release the tension if it's building. And I'll remind you, why are you doing this right now? Well, you're doing it for everybody. And you're doing it as what's coming up in your mind is my mind, is our mind. And the likelihood of you staying in this the whole time, if we're in a room together, not great. So the likelihood of you holding and staying in this at home, possibly on your own, probably not great. If you're still in it, go with it, stay with it. One more minute. If you came out of it, come back into it. And join the party on a Friday night. One more minute. And just so we're all clear, this was not my idea. This was Kimberly's idea. Just so we're all on the same page. And it's odd sometimes, places that you really don't see yourself being for very long, and you end up being there much longer than you thought, and probably at more peace than you thought was possible. Start to bring your hands back onto the mat. And remember, observe all the sensations, and from one end of the spectrum into the other. As you slowly release the hips from the ankles, and then we're going to turn around to lie down onto our backs. And bring your bum down and shoulders to the ground. Don't worry about what it looks like. And you can scoot yourself back onto your mat. And take a deep breath. Empty the chest, empty the lungs, empty the belly. That was a good collective sigh. And bring a little movement into your fingers, into your toes. There could be lots of feelings in this practice tonight. And bend your legs so that you're. And then we'll scoot our bum over to the left this time. And let your knees come down to the right. And so your knees are as high as your hips. You can get your lower body set. And there's a nice little groove. I didn't mention this on the first side. The top of your left foot and can rest in the arch, the inner arch sole of your right foot. And then use your left hand, slide your right elbow onto the mat. You maintain the lift and the length out of your low back first as you bring your left elbow underneath your shoulder. And stay on your elbows for about the first minute. And so it's drawing some length out of your low spine before you possibly deepen the twist. And got to see everything that comes up along the way. And you're welcome to stay on your elbows. You can put pillow blanket under your chest halfway in between, or spread your elbows apart. Stack your palms and let your chin come down on the back of your hands.
Slowly start to bring yourself back. As you lift the chin, bring your elbows back in. And then your left leg can straighten out. And untwist the hips. And straighten your right leg out. Make your way onto your belly. Feel the release of the twist, and then left arm goes behind your right elbow. And then your right arm comes over to the left, and so your elbows line up with the midline of your body. And then you can tuck the toes, a little rock, and to move your hips and your chest forward over your arms. Get a good amount of your torso over your arms. And then you can start to settle, untuck the toes, and let your head get heavy. If you're not feeling it too much, you may need to get more of your torso over your arms. So moving your hips and your chest forward, and then settling down. slow. As you start to lift the chin and then bring your left elbow out. And slide your right elbow back across. And come up to your hands and we'll make our way into a child's pose with the knees together. And then your arms can release back by your sides. And the shoulders extend. And the jaw can release. Use your hands under your shoulders, no rush. You can roll up one vertebra at a time. And sit on your shins. And the spine come all the way up, stack. And there might be a nice deep breath there waiting for you. And forward just enough. And to lift your bum, hands on the mat. And cross your left ankle behind your right ankle. And start to bring your hips back onto your ankles. You can pause with your hands on the mat. You can slowly give more weight of the upper body onto your ankles and your hands onto your lap. And feel anything bursting up into your chest, lifting up in your shoulders, soften them down. Relax the jaw. Close the eyes. And be with it about 1 more minute. And if you came out, come back in. And again, why are we doing this? We're doing this for all of us. In this practice tonight, certainly it could have untwisted some knots. And so you might really be out there in your mind all good. No rush. Start to bring your hands down onto the ground. And bring your hips off of your ankles. And crawl your knees forward a little bit and swing your feet around in front of you. And we'll lie all the way down onto our backs. Surrender. And the equality, the rights, the equal rights of being a human being is when we surrender and realize that your mind is my mind. Our mind is one. Our bodies are literally built and with systems to support us in the moment. I hope you all feel the super release. I invite you to stay here. You can sleep here if you want to. But stay here as long as you want if you're comfortable. And when you're ready to go, is gently, patient, and mindful as you can be. And keep that space open. I look forward to continuing the practice with you again tomorrow.
a great night, everybody. Namaste.